south latitudes of the planet. He began to study this carefully and found out that all the volcanoes, the major volcanoes in the solar system, are located on the north and south 19.48 north and south latitudes. The volcano Popo that you have right below you here is exactly on one of those. The largest volcano in the solar system on Mars is located precisely in one of those. The dark spot on Jupiter sits right exactly in one of those corners as it rotates, precisely at the 19.48 southern latitude of Jupiter. And to show that there is a star tetrahedron inside of the sun. Look at this. This is a SOHO photograph of a satellite of the sun. Here's the sun out here. These are solar flares. They circle the entire planet, and they sit exactly on the 19.48 north and south latitude of the sun. You can actually see where it is. So the star goes up here like that one. This one comes down here. And you have the star tetrahedron. They have found the star, NASA's found the star tetrahedron, the literal one, inside the Earth. They know where it is. They found it. They've even found another thing that's kind of interesting. They don't even know what to think about it. You know, in all your geological books, it shows that the nickel core is a sphere, the nickel core of the Earth. It's not. It's a pentagonal dodecahedron, which reflects, by the way, the pentagonal dodecahedral field of the grids around the Earth. Everything's linked. There's nothing that happens. Even the words I'm saying are all based on sacred geometry forms. Letters, the Hebrew letters, the Arabic letters, all the letters of the alphabet come out of the toroidal field lines that map them perfectly. The sound of the letters can be recreated by getting the shape and using sound generators. It's not an accident. They didn't evolve. They mapped over what was already there in sacred geometry in the first place. So even the words I'm saying are part of sacred geometry. It's so outstanding. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. And the more you look at it, eventually you just go, okay, I get it. It's everything. and then at that point, I did. I finally got to the place after 12 years of study, and I go, all right, it doesn't matter what the subject is. It's all around this one thing, and everything's interlinked, you know. And so I actually got bored with it after a while, and I went on to something else, because there's something else more important. and that's the thing that I'm going to talk about when we come back after the break in a little bit. There's something even more important in the Merkaba and all this other stuff we're talking about now. There's something more primal. No, we're not having a break yet. Don't go anywhere yet. Just a little bit. So when you begin to spin these star tetrahedrons around you, you'll find in nature that there are only certain ratios that these things can spin at harmonically. Now, there are teachers out there that are saying all kinds of stuff on the internet and in schools. They're saying that I use the speed ratio of 34:21, which was given to me, and they're saying, no, it's supposed to be 33.5 and all kinds of stuff like that. Well, if you study sacred geometry, that just isn't true. Because every single thing that you can show me in the entire reality, all counter-rotating fields are based on Fibonacci sequences, period. Nothing else is used. And that sequence goes from 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, 233, and continues. If you take three numbers like 3, 5, and 8, you got 3 and 5 and 8. If you don't know what the next one is, you take 3 and 5, then you add them together and you get 8. Then the next number, you add 8 and 5 and you get 13. That's the next one. You add 13 and 8, you get 21. That's the next one. And that is the growth pattern of all leaves and trees and all. It's everywhere. It's in everything. You can look at your hand, for example, and all the bone structure in your body is based on Fibonacci sequences. If you take the length of this bone of your tip of your finger and measure it against the next bone in your finger, This will be 1 as a measuring stick. Well, the next one will be 1.618000339, which is the golden mean ratio, but the golden mean ratio is intimately connected to the Fibonacci sequence. I'm not trying to lose you in numbers or anything, but it's just the way it is. And so then if you take this bone and measure it to this one, you'll get the same thing, 6.18. And the same way, if you take this one to this one, 6.18. If you take the length of your hand and measure it against this bone, it's 1.618. Or this bone to this bone, same thing. You take the length of your foot to this bone, 1.618. This bone to this bone, 1.618. You can even take the line drawn from the longest finger to the next longest finger to the next longest finger to the next longest finger to your thumb. So it goes, and each one of those lines are broken up into the golden mean or the Fibonacci sequence. And you'll find it literally in millions of places throughout your body. If you want to start looking, it's all through it everywhere, and you'll find how this is related. Well, if you count this pine cone, for example, there's a spiral that appears to be going this way, and another spiral that appears to be going this way. I say appears because spiraling patterns in nature are not; they're illusions. Energy always moves radially away from an object that's growing and not in a spiral. And so even if you take, say, a water hose and you stand here and you go like this, well, the water hose from above, the spiral that comes out of that will look like a spiral, and it looks like the water's spiraling out from you. It is not. Each drop is moving directly away from you, but when you put them in a pattern, they look like a spiral. So these are illusions. They're not really real. But if you count the ones going this way, you'll get 8, and if you count the ones going that way, you'll get 13. 2 subsequent Fibonacci numbers. And it's even clearer if you look at this particular flower, the sunflower. You can see these spirals that look like spirals going one way and spirals going the other way. This is a Merkaba field. This is a living biological Merkaba field. That's where it is. And you're actually seeing it demonstrated right there. But this spiral, like right there, is not. That one little piece right there is moving from center that way, not out this way. But nevertheless, if you count these spirals, this flower has a sequence of several different patterns. All of them are sequences of the Fibonacci. You'll find them at, I believe, 34 and 55, 55 and 89, 89, and 144, and 144 and 233. This one's 144 and 233. But so they can go faster and faster and faster. And you can actually see the sequences move down it's amazing when you start looking at this stuff on computers, what's actually going on here. But that didn't just happen. There's a deep, deep, incredible science that God has created that is in here. And you, as a human being, have the potential of spinning your energy fields to create what is called the vehicle of ascension that looks just like this from above, only the one that we're using is at a slightly slower speed because it's connected to this particular chakra, and this particular chakra is connected to what the earth is passing through herself. She is in the speed ratio of 2134. That's why we're choosing it, because we're moving with her as she moves from the third to the fourth dimension. We're moving from in the same way. Once we get into the fourth dimension, which is still here on Earth, it's just another level of the Earth. You couldn't see it. It's like changing a television station. You look at one TV station, you got a wavelength. You change to the next station, you've changed wavelength, maybe perhaps shorter or longer. You get a different picture. That's the same thing with the dimensional levels. They're nothing but different wavelengths. They're associated with music. And music, by the way, is nothing but a function of the way light reflects inside of a tetrahedron. Period. In the end again. You can come up with all the harmonics of music known to man, and about 200 different scales that man's never heard before, just by looking at the way light reflects inside of a tetrahedron. That is where all your harmonics come from. And so we're beginning to remember what this is all about. This crop circle now begins to make sense because you can see the 6 circles around here of the flower of life pattern, and you can see the whirling motions of this. This one is showing the toroidal field